So you know how we do at the INO podcast already. We love to have great conversations with great drinks. And with that being said, I'm happy to say that we are sponsored by Campari. So let me tell you a bit about Campari now. The unique, intense nature of Campari's vibrant red color and multi-layered bitter taste is the trademark of a connoisseur, stimulating the senses through a captivating visual and taste experience. I want you, if you have not tried this already, to try this. We love Campari, have it at your next line. Campari, respect the bitter. This is the I Know podcast, where we all about healthy debate, honest conversation, and talking beer junk. Information, knowledge, observation. This is the I Know podcast. INO, information, knowledge, observation. Also, I know nothing. We got man like Moz.
Hey.
We got Kofi.
Yo.
We got Gianni in the building. My name is Marcus Myers, and we have a very special guest. First thing that I would say about this person, the best compliment that I could give anybody, everybody that I have heard that has spoken to you at some point in time, has said that you have a bubbly, positive, and charming energy. And that is, there's people my age, people younger than me, older than me, different walks of life, all say the same thing. The next thing I would say is that the best way to describe this person is naked. Now, hold on. I'm going somewhere with it. Just follow with me. I'm going somewhere on the journey, but just to go with me where this follow me, right?
Yeah, where the hell is Moses said?
So yeah, I mean, sometimes is she in like little to no clothes online? Yes. But also naked in terms of her opinions, viewpoints, and arguments. Because hear me now. One thing that we've learned about Nandi through her Twitter is that she bears all when it comes to anything that she believes. Anything that she comes up with that's an argument, that for something, any position, she is not afraid to express herself, and she does it unapologetically. And whether or not it is an alternative viewpoint or a contrarian viewpoint, she states her claim, and that is a sort of confidence, both inside and out, that we're going to explore today. And this is from conversations such as the vaccine and how she felt about the vaccine during the height of the pandemic. This could be about monogamy. It could be about ketchup. It could be about, the fact that she doesn't like ketchup.
Don't worry.
It could be about, it could also be about like sexuality. Any conversation, she has these viewpoints that, she strongly stands behind this drink. She strongly stands behind, and we're going to explore all of that today. We have with us right now Barbados' sweetheart herself, Nandi Yard.
Hey.
I could get that recorded with that intro.
That was well written, Marcus.
Yeah, I feel like I might go play that a couple times a day. I
think you could have left all the naked part, but
no, but I think that there's a certain level of vulnerability that she's never afraid to like follow through with, and I find it very admirable. And I think that's a good place for us to start. First of all, Nandi, how are you doing today? You good?
I'm blessed.
You're good.
Blessed. Yeah,
You're good.
You?
I'm good. Mm-hmm. I am good. We just had a little walk-up session. A bit tired, but I don't know how you...
30 seconds.
It was all 30 seconds. 30 seconds of walking up. That song has put me in, I had cramp in my leg because of that song, by the way.
I don't know you.
That's an insult, by the way. Okay, but this is where we could start. I have sensed that you have a confidence about you that I find that you walk with and you exude. And it's a confidence that kind of commands a certain energy in the room. First of all, do you believe that? When I say that you have this confidence about you and everything that you do?
I keep hearing it. So, I guess so.
Right.
But do you believe it?
Yeah. Yes. Let me explain why I say that. Because I feel like I just be doing my own thing. Very often I just am catering to what is working for me and what I like to do. And I'm going with that and happy with that. And what you think could suck all as a result. And I guess that's show up as confidence. Because I'm not afraid to do what I want to do, essentially.
Right.
So yeah.
Have you always been so confident? And where does that confidence come from?
I have been on stage from very young. And I guess a lot of practice with stuff like that and learning how to pivot when things not going how it's supposed to would help. The flip side is that I think is a backlash from, our parents. They might not necessarily have an issue with something that you're doing, but then you get somebody saying to talk about what people gonna say type of thing. And I feel like I used to hear that a lot, and I went very far on the left of I'm not gonna let people dictate what I plan to do in my life. Plus, Granddad was always very strong on do what makes you happy. He give me little hearts with plaques and things saying do what makes you happy, and all the
Really?
rest is
Big up
Big up Granddad for real, boy.
Granddad.
That is cool.
We very supportive granddads.
It's true. But I did have a lot of people pouring into me from a young, like family members, stuff like that, just making sure that, I wasn't, especially in a space like Barbados. Because, thick little dark girl wasn't necessarily natural hair and stuff like that wasn't necessarily direct on the people I view. But I did have family that would always pour into me and make sure that I was secure in how I felt. And like even my name, which is the name of an African queen, and living up to that and stuff like that. So I did have some of everything molding it into who I am, I guess.
Really? Okay. So you have a strong foundation in terms of family. Who supports you in about like everything you do?
Yep.
One thing that I found interesting about you too is I don't know any other blend of like interests that I see in anybody else that you have. Like, for example, whether it be like your interest in being like driving motorbikes, number one.
Motorbikes.
And then you could tell that I don't know much about motorbikes, so I just say like motorbikes. It's what you say? What's the word?
Just
Bike.
writing.
Riding.
bikes.
Sorry. Okay, riding.
You don't
Sorry.
drive motorbikes.
Yeah, you don't drive motorbikes. You ride motorbikes. I'm an idiot. Is what I'm trying. And that's a long form of what I was getting at. That I'm an idiot, and I just exposed myself to being an idiot. Right.
Right. Man never is bad.
Right.
Like, this is not our friend.
No, from riding motorbikes to dancing, and then also being a chemist. It seems like everything that you do in your life is like intentional. There's nothing that you do that isn't like a passion of yours. It feels like. I just want to know. Do you understand that is something that is hard to come by? Many people don't like shape their life in that way. They usually do something because it's like a means to an end, or they just do it because it makes a salary, they're trying to make a living, etc. But you really carved a life for yourself where it's like about all your passions.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that it's easy. Excuse me. Not gonna say that it's easy because it is weird picking from all the different places and putting them together to kind of make sense for me. And so it does have its challenges, and at times I would have to like forge my own path because it's not necessarily somebody has done it before and I could follow in their footsteps or that I know about per se. So a lot of it is me figuring out and doing my own thing as I go ahead. But I will say if it feels right for me and it's going well for me and it makes me happy and it pouring into me, I can pour back into it and lean towards that and go to those spaces more than anything. And so I guess it starts to carve out what makes sense for Nandi.
What makes you want to be a chemist? Because it seems like it's something that you enjoy doing, right? And I feel like many people like ask you about like your dancing and what makes you want to dance and why you love dancing. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the interesting questions is also in like your interest in chemistry and why you still do it. So I just wanted to know like what is it about it that's interesting for you?
Ooh, again. I just give my story, my storyline. I was always good at sciences. So originally, I think when I applied to UA, I wanted to do forensic pathology. I ended up doing biochemistry for a while. And then it didn't make sense after doing like 3 years of biochemistry to try to switch to med. I could as well finish it. So I finished the degree. And in my last year doing that, I also started up traveling with Marshall, which wouldn't have happened if I was doing med. I would have definitely have to choose. But my lecturers were pretty understanding. They would email me my stuff. I had friends in the class that would fill in for me. And then Marshall would also send me back if I had any exams to do. So back and forth. So that worked out in my favor, not getting into the med scene. And in my last year, I started doing a research project on renewable energy, converting grass to biogas, and it was a newfound love. Because truthfully, in doing the degree, I was like, I'm not sure what I can do with this. I can just finish it. But in the last year, it kind of showed me something that I liked about it. And so now I'm doing a master's in that.
That is very cool. That is very cool. So basically, you had to make a sacrifice of like actually pursuing like full-on medicine in order for you to do both, I guess, your chemistry passion as well as your traveling as a dancer.
In a sense, I didn't. So something happened and the med went sideways and it ended up in biochemistry. And truthfully, I was real upset. Like, what I can do in my life now? Don't even know nothing about biochemistry that I like. What I can do? But like I said, as time went on, it kind of showed itself how I could work in this space and spaces that I actually like. And then, like I say, it made room for me to do other things like the martial stuff, which opened up a whole another set of doors. So it worked out. Hindsight was 2020. I didn't know why my life was going this way at the time, but it worked out.
Oh, that is very cool. That is very, very cool. That's very, very cool. Okay. And in terms of your dancing now, which we all know you for, how do you still at this point juggle the two? Because I mean, it seems to me as though like dancing aside, what you do in terms of being in the lab and stuff seems like a full-time job. I don't know how you get a chance to still juggle both, even though you did make a sacrifice before. Like, still, how do you manage to do the two? Because, I mean, you still do the dancing to a point where it's almost as though that is a full-time job in itself. Yeah. So to do both things, how you manage, like, in a day?
In a day. All right, I can come to that. Just remind me them little points.
Yeah.
Tangent. From part of why I dove into the schoolwork. Oh, what's the word I want? Try that again. Right. Part of why I dove into the academics is because most dancers in Barbados work a 9 to 5 and then just that.
Schoolwork.
Just shows that she don't care for it. She's not schoolwork.
It's the drinks.
I heard about
It's the
she said they top of she
drinks.
pay for it. Nandi Yard, class B.
You're right.
All right.
I would say, why I dove into the academics is because most dancers work like a 9 to 5 and just dance, maybe hotels on the evening. So I was like, what am I going to do with my 9 to 5 to then do dance on the evening? Yes, I wanted to be a professional dancer, but I couldn't figure out how that was gonna happen. Like, no dancer in Barbados that I know of like makes a full-time living comfortably. And I know a few, but it's not like an easy something. You would have to have the links and the certain jobs to be constantly able to, survive for yourself. So I want to be a professional dancer, but how is that going to happen? Yeah. And again, life kind of showed me how that would work out and keep opening doors in that way. And then the biochemistry stuff was still working out. So I've been kind of like just juggling both, but I've also been doing that my whole life. A big bunch of activities, running from here and there to lessons to this other activity to this in between. So I kind of feel like I've been prepping myself for the madness.
Okay.
It's a lot though. I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot. It's gonna remind myself to slow down.
Football?
Yes.
That too. Oh my gosh.
And then teach pole dancing. Like 7 classes a week.
What?
And then travel on weekends.
You travel on weekends?
Yeah, boy.
Okay, coming to St. Peter doesn't count as traveling, by the way. I was that right? that is insane. And
insane schedule.
I totally forgot what that time was. I mean football too. And then also you're good at all these things.
Right.
Why, thank you.
So I'm not...
When you got the shot.
I try. Thanks.
Yeah, you could juggle a football, which means you're good at it. That's how I see it, basically.
I'm sure footballers would disagree.
Whoa, that is really insane. Okay, do you think that I was talking to a dancer once, and she said that dancers.
But you said talking.
That's why looking at his face.
I was dating a dancer once.
Right.
No, I was talking to one just casually. I didn't mean I was dating one. Oh my gosh.
Although were you or not?
No. I was in a conversation with a dancer that I know that is a friend, right? And she told me that
besties.
She told me that dancers do not get paid what they're supposed to get paid, even if it's not even like a full-time thing. That they still do not get paid what they're supposed to in Barbados. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I think that was a question she would probably want to ask you, your views on that.
Yeah, they ain't like at all. I feel like people do see the importance of dancers because then a stage without dancers, it could work still, but depending on what you're doing it for, dancers will add to the performance, whether it be energy, visual, that's the element that we bring, even if it's online. So people will see the value in it and then be like, yeah, I want like a 10-minute dance, but you only got like $50 to spend. 10 minutes mean... First of all, coming up with, you dance for 30 seconds just now.
Right.
You felt what that was like. So 10 minutes, first of all, crazy. You want people to be coordinated together, meaning they have to rehearse. And a 10-minute piece, meaning they got to spend time there. So you done with rehearsals. God knows how many times you drive there, spend long hours, spend time, energy, this injury, that injury. And then people's be like, yeah, I only got $50. Okay. Keep your $50. I'm going to go home and kick up my feet because my time for that long gone.
I know you say $50, right? But the same person said in that conversation, just give me some numbers. And it wasn't $50 per se, but it was something that was just absolutely ridiculous counting in the performance as well as rehearsals.
Yeah, boy.
And it was like, because basically they said that somebody will have a certain amount of money, but then that has to be divided amongst the 4 or 5 backup people.
Yeah.
And so what the hell though?
Sometimes I don't even involve costumes.
Oh, y'all
makeup.
Y'all have
hair.
to provide the makeup and costumes?
What?
No, that's foolishness. That actually doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, so
What?
that's why I can't be operating at that loss. By the time we done spend the gas to get to the couple rehearsals.
Everything let go.
Everything let go,
Your
boy.
time when you're there,
Exactly.
you just do everything else. So I mean,
That is insane.
that time valuable.
Yeah, boy. It's rough.
That is insane.
That actually doesn't make any sense. Why are people dancing?
Because they love to. I'm not gonna lie, some artists do, pull out these stops and try to make it better. And
I mean, it adds value. You're right. I remember when a performer got into dances, he poor. It does
Like, not this or that, but you're correct. You're correct. You're correct.
Judge that you value.
You look poor Ricky, though. That's part. No, like, you play stage by yourself. You ain't got a friend up.
yeah. Nah, boy. That has to change. I don't know how that would change, but I hope that people, the right people are listening that just know. But another thing too is that it's like hard to say, well, it is a conversation that we're going to get into in a minute, but when one dancer says that they are not going to do it for that price, another one will.
Yeah.
So the price would always be what it
The
is.
market can shift in that direction.
I hear you, and it used to be on that. At the same time, I feel like because I do have access to elsewhere, I don't let that faze me. Like, it literally happened maybe last year or something that somebody asked for dancers and we gave them a quote and they were like, oh yeah, we find cheaper dancers. And we were like, okay.
Why do people feel they need to say that?
I don't know, but they went ahead with the cheaper dancers and then social media was doing the most on them. Truth be told, we ain't calling no names. Truth be told, they're very good dancers and I don't know if it was costume. Because I know them personally. It's not a big dance world. They're very good dancers. And I don't know if it was costume or maybe it wasn't the vibe or... I don't know. It's just different people. And if you want a particular person, you know where you approach them and you got the value and they have the value to bring to your something. And then, the person still got to eat. But the man was like, yeah, we got cheaper dancers. Like, all right, go along. Unfazed. I can't let that bug me no more. We'll go find my work elsewhere. Because at the end of the day, you get what you pay for.
I find that I feel that they add in that little tidbit on purpose, as though your value is as much as whatever it is I got the other people for. Though. Just to let you know that.
A lot of people do believe that. They truly believe that it's the same value because they have they're not looking at okay, well maybe there's a reason why this person is charging less.
I low-key want to fight the dancers too, because them know that them worth way more than that, and they talent worth way more than that, so they shouldn't know in the first place.
But some people need the money, I guess.
And yeah, I can't fault them for that at the end of the day. But like you say, it then just brings down the standard.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and
the overall.
Charging at a certain level is an insurance policy, because a person who's willing to pay close to your rate, right, is probably going to pay for a good setup.
Yeah.
It's probably going to invest in marketing.
Yeah.
So we got to be very careful as practitioners to grab at the first thing because, well, you may get that money or you get that there, but then you may go, the show might be running, out, your timing might be off,
Mhm.
or whatever, and you end up there longer than you anticipated, or the setup just isn't right.
Yeah,
The
you're
exact
right.
the exact opposite of that as well, where like if you charge too little, no, like people like might be judging you like, I can't believe that this is what she's doing. So this is her
So people
standard.
look at that.
So your value will drop.
So it's more than just the immediacy of the moment, you know.
You ain't lie though, because truthfully, the cheaper ones, the ones that you say, all right, I can do it for the low discounted prices, be the more stressful ones. at the end of the
Always,
day.
always, bro.
Yeah.
Always.
People that don't argue you price and hit you with the deposit in 10 minutes is everything just breeze.
It's flawed.
I love those charges.
You're going to just bring a fire, at least some water.
Correct.
Right.
Sorry, you okay?
That I guess that brings us to our first major topic. You said last year that you wanted to come on a podcast and talk about being an influencer in Barbados. You have the floor because you're on a podcast.
I gotta watch myself too.
It's my God.
Because we are watching you closely.
Right?
We are watching you closely.
Funny enough, Twitter was supposed to be my private spot where you can talk without reservation.
Judgment?
Yeah, you ready to also? You ready to also? Twitter. Twitter.
For every catch-up comment, bro. I actually vexed you on catch-up, though. We can get in that.
It was supposed to be my little private spot, and then suddenly, I don't know, things went,
was
and I
not
was like,
that.
shoot.
Use a public figure on a public platform, bro.
Damn.
But okay, but to preface it a bit, okay, so you are an influencer and have amassed a following not only in Barbados but in the region, across the world, really, and are an ambassador for crop over, soca, all over. People know you for your dancing and everything you've contributed to the culture. And you said that you, as an influencer, you have a few things to discuss. I have an idea of what they are, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. But I would like for you to just
Have the floor.
have the floor.
Well, first of all, this was a year ago, and I struggled to remember what I had for breakfast. But one of them was along the same lines of people not really appreciating the value. It's like they know the value that you bring hence to come to you in the first place. They know your engagement or following, whatever the case is. But then they're like, yeah, I could give you $1,000 in product.
In product.
Oh.
Somebody literally did that to me, a beverage. $1,000 in beverage. I told myself, I go a variety shop. What are you doing with $1,000 worth of this? Like, for real, talk to me. I can't put gas in my car? All right, no thanks.
$1,000 in product. That is insane.
And then, like, what's interesting, right, is that it's very easily to calculate, like, the power a social media influencer has, right, compared to a traditional celebrity. And odds are, is almost always more because, like, that social media influencer is now directly connected to all of their, I don't want to say fans, followers. Whereas the celebrity, no, is seen more. You know what I mean? That person more out there. They're not really at home. So like when they sell them, when they're like, okay, but this product, like you ain't really purchasing that product because it's just an idea of a thing. Right. Whereas if Nandi like, the drink tastes good, I might want to try that drink because that's Nandi. Me and Nandi 1 degree away.
Yeah. But then see the value, that's what I mean. They see the value of it and like everybody on social everybody on social media is scrolling. For sure you're there. If you on the radios, people's listening to the own thing when they get in the car, so they might miss it. Who watching that channel on TV, people streaming the own thing, they might miss it. But social media, for sure, you know that people are there and scrolling, so they 100% see the value. But I don't know if it's that we just...
It's just a weird match, right, man? We believe in the traditional celebrity more than the people that actually getting the product off the shelves.
I feel like I'll push back, though. I got to push back a little bit.
Push back, me?
Just a little bit. There's a difference between a big following and being an influencer, though.
I agree.
Really?
And yeah, like just because somebody endorses a product doesn't mean they have like the influence to make me change that as like to a call to action of me actually going and getting that product and then making a purchase. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of people and some influencers may feel as though their value may be more than it is. Yeah. And yeah. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Of somebody who's a big influencer, not the biggest following. Spinny does not have the biggest following.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Spinny's first Juve was last year. Crap. And he paper, a juve, any paper, crap with people, right? He has that ability to say, I got this thing, I coming out. Bubbles actually said that. Bubbles said people got a big following. Can you bring people to a party though? That's the real question.
Now, Spinny 100% is that. And he could go from St. Peter, people gonna be there. He can go St. Philip, people gonna be there. He can go St. George, people come in, and they come in full Spinny shirts too. But
I feel as though some people have a big following. This could be because, I don't know, they put a lot of drama on their Instagram. They made their Instagram very personable. Many different things. But can they get somebody to actually buy a product?
But I feel like you agree with what I was saying, because I don't consider those people social media influencers. They do not influence on anything. As you said, a lot of these people are just pretty. A lot of these people just bring drama to themselves. A lot of these people just are spectacles then. They're not real. They're not somebody relatable. But there are influencers. I love that you, Spinny, as a very good example. Mm-hmm. I was struggling to think about a Beijing and Nandi. But Spinny is a very, very good example. There are others, obviously. I just can't think of none right now.
Sam too.
Sam, yeah.
Sam.
Sorry.
Yo, Sam.
Who the fuck is Sam?
Right, Oracle Sam.
Right. Yeah, she's another one. Like, there are people that just feel a lot more relatable, and the way they deliver their content.
Jordan English, yeah.
The way they deliver their content is just something in reach. Compared to some people that just be like, "Hey, I'm pretty, buy this product." That is not influencing.
But I do see
that's advertising.
You know, if you smart, you can work it, and then that comes into a product aligning with you brand. If you're seen as a pretty girl and that's that, and you want to, and you align with, say, like a makeup company or, you know, clothes that you wear and everybody thinks that you are super stylish, then you start plugging people to where you get clothes for. That might be an avenue for you to work. But something like very far off that don't really align with you, but people be like,
I think a lot of companies that try to hire influencers and so on don't understand the value of that influencer. So it's been, as you said, it's misaligned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And then when it don't work out, and like,
you know what, Mons? Like, there is, like, using that exact same example, there is a product that I saw, again, but all the time, the same Oracle Sam pushing, that I saw it and I was like, this isn't necessarily, like, when she does her, like, staycation things, her restaurant things, fire. I don't want to call it the product because they might sponsor something. Yeah, they might sponsor something. But, like, it was like, you using that for true.
Yeah.
Like, it just don't feel real. But then, like, if a brand look at me and was like, hold 5K and hold this product, I can hold it, B.
Right.
I toss out too, because sometimes I'm not a heavy drinker. I hardly drink, and I got to drink maximum. So a drink brand, alcoholic drink brand, come into saying, first of all, it got to be something that I'm willing to drink. I don't drink certain drinks, so I'm not going to say, all right, yeah, you gave me money so I can tell the people, here, look, this tastes great.
Right.
And it's not something that I don't drink, because that don't feel authentic to me. Right. If I can vouch for something, I want to actually be able to, you know, be honest with you about it. So that's something you got to really consider.
Yeah.
Because if you're not being authentic about that, and look at it, if it tastes bad and you're telling me it tastes great and I gonna buy it, you can't tell me to buy nothing else.
Keep going.
I don't want to say man, it's hard for me to say this without saying who the body is that came to me. Nah.
Okay.
But it was something that that is not in my interest at all, but they wanted me to promote it. And then also they gave me, I didn't get a figure too. They said $125 for like a reel or something like that or whatever, right? I don't have the biggest following on my Instagram, so I don't know why they chose me to begin with. Right. And then also, but then also just I don't align with that thing, so it will be so inorganic for me to just be like,
it was cigarette wrappers. I just dying thinking about that. That's so funny, though.
So
Marcus Myers and these slow burners, right?
Chinese. What was Benson and Hedges?
Not the same, but go on.
But I was just like, I can't in good conscience promote this, knowing that people don't know me for this though. Mm-hmm. And also what is that they were saying that they were gonna pay me this amount. I can't do that. It is just no point. And then also, people have to be very careful of when they take the small numbers now, because when the person comes back to you in the future, if you then like do a price hike now, then it's like why would I pay you like 3 times that when I got you for 125 in the first place.
Because yesterday's value is not today's value.
People don't know
fair,
that.
fair.
That's why, like, one of the biggest things lessons my brother ever taught me is, like, work for your price or for free, because you will never go back for that discount price.
I learned that from Mosey, actually.
Yeah.
I learned from Mosey. I also learned from...
Your brother learned it from me.
I ain't know you, bro. I ain't know you. You're a wise man, sir.
I've also learned, should I say the person name? I should, man. I think it was smart, right?
Well, okay.
Future. He said, and this is just a side conversation. If you do the discount, make sure to always state on the invoice what the price is supposed to be.
Right.
Show the discount, and then show what it is that you actually giving the person. So that when they come back, you better is you say that it was a discount for like a first time in order to forge a relationship.
That's sage advice.
I mean, and that was something that I did not do for years, right? And I paid the penalty for that because people would come back to me and I would raise the price. They'd be like, why did you raise it to this amount, whatever.
Because the price of food gone up.
Fair.
People don't want to hear that.
It's crazy, right? That should bigger, not bigger, but my thing is $18 now, B. It's $19? It's $19 now. When it was $16 the other day. I remember that clearly. I could see the poster in my head, $16.95, 6 things on the coat.
Yeah, that was the other day for you. It was the other day for you.
So, but no one is saying anything. They are still going to sell it. They are still going to buy 100,000 wings every January, every wedding season.
Right.
But what I feel like a entrepreneur now was like, well, my overheads has gone up, therefore my price must go up. Because clients are now thinking, well, that's shite. Because last month I paid you this price, but they did not know what's going into it.
So it's interesting. So Nandi, do you still sense that sense of kind of like people undervalue you, even though you have this immense following and a huge influence and all that, still at this point, no?
And you know it's coming from the corporate world.
That kind of shot me low key.
Not all of them, don't get me wrong. Not all of them. But more often, sometimes it's even come from entertainers and they be looking at you. I on this same struggle with you, why you trying to do this to me?
So they said precisely why you trying to do that.
So
you know why he's struggling.
Exactly, but yeah, no. Sometimes they would always try to come with the... I don't take it personal because at the end of the day, people can do what's best for them business. Is for me to decide or no, that ain't worth my time. Correct, do what's best for my business too. That ain't worth my time, that ain't worth my energy. So, and like I say, I might got a different outlook or a different perspective of this because I have access to elsewhere that might not argue with me. So I don't go fight when I might charge a price in the US and people don't hesitate to pay in US dollars. If I had to come and call that same price, but in Bajan dollars, people be like, what are you talking about? That's fine. I can start home and kick out my foot. I go to the US in the weekend and teach the very same class for the US dollars in the same course.
Just take it to the US in the weekend.
But she said that earlier, and I wanted to double back to it because like that doesn't even make sense to me. So like, you teach on the weekend in the States for that much money that is worth traveling every weekend?
Or it might be a carnival or a dance performance or something like that. Yeah. Well, if I can start home and not make nothing, or I could get on the plane and make money and get experience, guess where I going?
But that's actually very foolish, Like, not saying what you're doing is dumb, as in, like, the idea of that is so retarded in my head. I cannot fathom that, B.
Yes, where are you going? And I guess from, like, July till sometime in October, it was literally every weekend it was somewhere else at some carnival or teaching some dance class or some dance performance. Something to do with walking up.
How many passports you burn?
That's actually a good question.
Just start stamping passports, so you good to go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sight.
There's hardly anywhere I've been that there's actually stamped passports. Maybe Caribbean islands.
Yeah, Caribbean. I write the stamp.
How do people receive you overseas? Are you like, is the general feeling kind of like a celebrity kind of vibe?
It's be too funny. I still don't. I still don't know how to really deal with it because it's very same person to me. And also, bank account is not reflecting celebrity, so I'm going to take the regular person status. Thank you.
We need evidence for that.
God got to tell me she ain't licking B. God got to tell me so.
But, so yeah, it's just be good, low, heartwarming, something that I ain't walking up for nothing.
It shows you that do all the work paying off.
Yeah, like when I'm in the supermarket in Florida and somebody might recognize me, or in New York and somebody from Australia, making sure them at every single workout class that I have, because they want to know how to bubble and thing like that. It's just be a little rewarding. I'm out here doing the good work.
Like so Sally's in the grocery aisle. And she sees Nandi. So what do you walk us through, like a moment?
When Karen sees you.
Karen.
No, Lord.
Let us call you.
Nandi.
Okay.
Like, if it's Nandi, yeah. Or
That's
some
so
people might go, you're African queen. Nandi.
Oh, wow.
There's a whole lot to say.
Okay.
But, yeah, there's just show if it's not. I just left my granddad. Bless up granddad, but he in the hospital right now. And the nurse came to feed him and he was like, you know Nandi the dancer? They're my grandchildren. So it's been heartwarming. I ain't walking up for nothing.
Yo, big up granddads again, boy. Grandparents isn't for real, boy. So something came up the other day, and I guess saying that I could throw it to the room. So if y'all remember, the year started with a viral video that came out with a woman was dancing on a man, and it was filmed by Beijing too. And they danced, and this went viral. Viral, like, as in, like, probably 4 million, 5 million, probably at 10 million by now. Because it was a sweet dance, right? Walking up, stink, right? But it's a sweet stink walk up.
Okay.
And so everybody said, I want to know what I mean, right? Right. Caribbean people that saw it were like, shh, a dance like this is be sweet, boy. People outside the Caribbean said, this is why you don't deal with Caribbean people, right? They said, basically, I can't deal with a Caribbean person knowing that when they go to a fete, this is how they must be dancing on the men and women here. You understand? So you can see a stark difference in the comments, which is what kind of brought me to this question about walking up in general. Is walking up like a sexual thing, or is it more just a part of our cultural, one of our cultural dances that we just have to embrace as part of our heritage? How would you say, are people blow out of proportion, or should there actually be rules and regulations on walking up when people going out and they got partners and things? I'll throw it to the room.
I think, this might be bad to say, but I can't tell you the full history, origin of walking up. I know I grew up in African dance groups that walking out is my culture. It come from the motherland.
Right. No, I love that you can admit that, though. I love that you can admit that. I love that, bro. Because it's facts, man.
Right, and I see videos of like people in Congo and stuff like that doing similar dances.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they may have had it originally at a particular time. It might be a ritual, or it might be a sign of fertility. It might have been a sexual something for them.
Preach, bro.
I have no idea how it translated as it come down the history line. But as part of the celebration, here, people used to walk up. And that passed on culture. So even though I see it as a means of celebration, people enjoying themselves, like even looking at that video, you see a bunch of people literally having fun. Everybody in the background having fun the exact same way. So to look at that, knowing that somebody else's culture different and everybody enjoying themselves and go, something is wrong with this, I think you's the problem. I think you should respect people's culture a little bit, especially consenting adults. I don't necessarily think that, like, it's how you walk up at the end of the day too, you know. And you know when it mean a little saying more than just we in a party having a good time, or, oh wait, I think I actually like this person. This is a dance. And then there's an innocent, and then there's the innocent child at a carnival just moving waist, because that's how everybody on this side of the world is, you know, enjoy themselves when they hear it so good. Right. So I think context is important. Likewise with music, they got certain songs that ain't for children, and then they got songs that child friendly. So
you said a lot, and like there's so much reply to. Let's go. I can start from the end. You said something that kind of triggered a memory which is something I grossly dislike. Like I hate to see little men walking on grown women.
Same.
Sorry, little boys walking on grown women. Like there's a cheese on bread. Like I don't even know how to bring in this whole thing, but this is something that I witnessed the other day, and it's like I want a lot of like older women to like check themselves and what they be telling younger men.
Big time.
Cause it's be like you would look at a tall boy in a school uniform and telling him inappropriate things, right? That like if genders were to be reversed, jail.
Right.
One time jail, but like.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Which
But
is part
creepy,
of the problem.
creepy, it's creepy and weird.
It's not one-sided. I agree with you in that it's not just males that would make those comments.
But it's more overlooked. Like you will see like a video of a little boy 3 feet tall walking up on a grown woman and like joking she don't and like the whole background is just like cheering this on. But then like so I like that you mentioned that this thing stems from like celebrations of fertility or what's not. Because like, jeez, you said so much just on that. I try to, everything links together, right? Because so like again, like this little thing, like there is a sexual aspect of it. Like okay, missionary was only I know. Just wait.
Yo, we just talking about everything ever in life.
Hear me out. I be irrelevant to listen, right? Missionary only became a standard position in a couple of years, you know.
I mean
that last right now.
argue with you because if we go deep by the Bible, that's probably the only position you should have sex in.
Nah, that was written by a European man. You gotta study that.
Fair.
I'm being real when I go stay with me. When I go stay with me.
I hear you.
Let me finish my sentence. When I go let me finish.
I've never heard that.
I'm just saying, and you can watch depictions in media today and see it. Like, I didn't start yet. But a standard was what we call doggy style today, right?
That is bestiality.
How is doggy style bestiality? What a sentence.
I just telling you.
Not his
That's what
Okay, we just had some audio issues, but Kofi was explaining his point poorly.
No,
and you were whiling, big man. You were whiling.
Oh, that's where we left out. Okay, easy.
So you're okay. So all right. So let's reset the room. Kofi, give us your full explanation for your talk. Just
It's
so
so
we
annoying
hear.
because I feel like I got y'all. Y'all were on the same page finally. And then I was like, nah, I have none, dude.
But yeah, no. But yeah. We here with you, Kofi.
Okay.
Let's walk with you from the very beginning. What you was talking about.
Again, here's a bastardization of what I literally just said. Okay, so my point was, like, historically, human beings have been having sex not for romantic reasons, but for reproduction. So it wasn't always a case where, like, the facing, like, yeah, like, the Bible mentioned it, but the facing each other thing wasn't always the quote-unquote default. It was normally doggy style, backshot, whatever you feel to call it. No, that goes hand in hand with, like, the walking up and the waist and, like, having bigger hips. All these things having to do with fertility and the celebration of fertility is, like, the origins of that kind of, like, waist movement, that kind of dance, which obviously trickled down. Now, I also mentioned that Caribbean culture is no longer the same as African culture. Obviously, a breakaway. You develop your own culture. Eventually, walking up became what it is today, a dance. It's just something we do. No, the reality is, though, this thing is based on something. And if we're being honest, a boxy moving upon the penis is not necessarily, like, the most asexual thing ever. So having a little boy walking up on a grown woman, something about that is very weird. So to see videos of, like, little boys walking up on grown women and people in the background chatting on, bigging you up, making you feel like a king, that's something weird that we really got to study. That looks weird. And it should look weird because it is very freaking weird.
Yep.
Two consenting adults, though, in effect, that's not the same vibe. That means two people dancing because we're grown enough to know it's just a dance. It is what it is. Sometimes you will have, like, a slow wine with somebody, and that's the last interaction you ever have with that person, and that's mighty fine. They may have no sexual interaction between you two and one another. It's just, you in effect, you see somebody, you dance with somebody, you move. What I was getting at is when Nandi specifically said respect people's culture, I find it interesting to say because it's more a case of you can't respect something you don't know anything about. Your respect is not going to be your default. So, for example, and this is a very extreme example, but a very real example is I don't know if it still exists, there was or is a Chinese dog eating festival. No,
Wait, what? Say it again?
There is a Chinese dog eating a Chinese dog eating festival as late as 2015. So like I said, now hearing that as a man, I live in the Western Hemisphere, madness. Like what you mean? But that is their culture. They have what's called virgin boy eggs, where is eggs marinated in pea. But this is disgusting shit to me and you. But we have no idea what's going on. But this is their culture. So I cannot say I don't understand why somebody would look at us and think this is wild. Because when I look at other cultures, I see things and I think, yo, that is wild. So it just stemming from a place of ignorance. Sure. I will not talk for the rest of this podcast.
Yeah, well done. I hear you.
I don't know if I agree with anything that you just said, but it came from the heart. The point is it came from the heart, though. That's what's important. Because I know podcasts, we say this with your heart, regardless of if it's true. But yeah.
It is somebody's culture, and you are fairly saying it's not for you, and that is fine. But to look at somebody's culture and say, you have to stop this is wrong and this is bad, which is what some of the comments that I was seeing, something about y'all don't have any respect and they ain't this and that, and starts to go, all starts like, how you get here?
I know, B. I give an extreme example of reason I do that.
So okay.
Personally though, I would have seen the dog, because this gonna sound bad, but y'all know that I got some very extreme views. I have a dog that is my child, that is my baby. But dog is a domesticated animal. Okay. There are other animals that are there that are food. There are animals that I will not eat because I stick to my chicken, my simple things. But in other cultures, people just eat different animals. Mm-hmm. So if that's part of your culture, I can just die my speed and want nothing to do with it. And get true, it's like Jamaicans has got them managed water and you will see the goat teeth in there. I am not eating that, but I not gonna tell the people that room for eating goat teeth.
I rate that as your point of view. Personally, I would stop telling people don't eat goat teeth. But I rate that you're good enough to do that. Honestly, I'm not even joking.
That's who you. Once you ain't, to me, you ain't negatively affecting yourself or somebody else. You got consented adults in this space, and that's what them choose to do. What you feel like?
I think exactly what you just said. I think that some of these things is to be negatively affecting yourselves. Like and I'm not joking about the virgin boy pea eggs. Like that is a thing, dog. Like
suppose the pea getting you back urea that you need for something else. I ain't gonna get my urea elsewhere. But suppose that was them logic.
Nandi, it's pea.
Maybe.
Again.
We're
okay, so Kofi, basically
I was gonna go very far left just now.
Marcus really fishing, Rogers fishing.
Okay, so
you said, wait, pause. You could cut this out. You said Nandi is P, but if the girl was squirting, what would it been? You reasoning?
It's mostly not. That's different though. I just made afterward, dog. But cut off for sure.
All right, but you were shutting your.
Okay, but anyway, Kofi, but okay.
Wait.
What I gathered from what you were saying, Kofi, is that how we interpret cultures are different, and just because they interpret it that way they're well within the right to interpret it that way. But we interpret it a certain way, and we shouldn't be chastised for looking at our culture in this way as opposed to them sexualizing it and condemning it.
I think one more thing is that if you're ignorant of something, you cannot expect to respect it. So if I do not know what this is, it is very reasonable to...
But then are you not responsible for your ignorance?
Thank you. If you ignorant about something...
I hear people saying things like that a lot, and it's like, that's such an interesting thing to say, that I'm responsible for my own ignorance. I cannot know everything. There will always be something presented to me that is brand new.
Yeah, but it's a behavior that you...
And it's how you take it too, in my opinion. If your first scene is when you don't know something to just automatically condemn it, then what's our person you is? You ain't take time to fully understand it and reason with it first. You first thing off the bat is to judge it and condemn it, then that's saying this about you personally.
I think honestly, like that sounds very good, but I just think in a realistic standpoint, some things jump out. Like, when there are still like legit African tribes where the women are topless. If it was to be blindfolded currently and when they put me outside and they saw that, I am going to react like, what the fuck is this?
But that's based on your socialization, Kofi. If you had grew up in that space and you had seen that on a regular, that would have been nothing.
But that is exactly my point. That is exactly my point. Because I do not see that, I do not have any experience of that. My reaction is, what is that? I am not seeing this for the first time. I am not enraged, but I am I have
Taken
a
aback.
strong reaction.
Yeah,
But with
you're taken
knowing that,
aback.
understanding
Yes.
that, to still say that is wrong, you should put on a top is well to me because
agree.
that's just not how they grow
So
up.
there's a difference between looking outside and be like, whoa, what's going on here?
Right.
These women bare bubbies.
Correct.
And there's another thing
I'm
to
saying,
say, cover up.
No,
Right.
here tune though. Are we realistically going to look out? Are we realistically going to look outside and see two topless women and say, "Whoa, that is wild"?
you gonna walk
Or are we going
outside
to
and
say-
see two
or-
topless women and complain?
No, but
Okay.
but in all seriousness though, right? In all seriousness though, if that was to happen, are we going to look and say that is what? Or are we going to look and say put on something because that is all we know?
I ain't gonna say that was a lovely rat and Galombo.
A lovely rock.
Yeah, that ain't had nothing to do with me.
But not, I understand what you're saying, B, but I don't think it's that simple, B.
Both
Okay.
things can be true.
Do you think that, I think I understand what both of them are saying. I understand why people will be taken aback. I also agree with Nandi when I say just because you're taken aback doesn't mean you have to outwardly outwardly condemn it online. Because you have to accept there may be some things that you may not know about this interaction and the context. So for you to, before you start like bashing people for doing something that they're accustomed to. But my question is though, if there is a sexual component and it kind of varies depending on like the dance and stuff, I can understand why people will have like certain rules and regulations when it comes to like their partner going out and dancing with somebody else or some dances being like lewd or something like that, depending on what it is or depending on how it's done. So at the same time, I kind of get both sides, you know what I mean? I don't want to get where you're coming from.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna probably lead us into you not saying, but for me, that's something of a personal something. You know who you're in a relationship with, and if that's one thing, I want to agree. I want to go and walk up on everybody that want to pass, and then go home together. That's one of business. Likewise, if you want to drink the pee, that you business. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Oh, so we about there then?
No. But likewise, again, that's whatever in your relationship, and that's how your relationship functions. And as long as two women in that agree with each other, and that's one understanding, then anything else is wally. But
I would not do there.
if
for
you
sure.
know that your relationship is not a space that you should be dancing with somebody else like that, I personally won't be in something like that. But if that's you seen, then don't go and behave like a scallywag and then be confused when the person react.
Let me give you an example. I could dance on a girl, cool, whatever. Or no, my partner could dance on somebody and that's a vibe, right? I want you to have a good time when she out, whatever. If when what song is about pick up sign and pelt it, right?
Pick
up.
That's
I can't pick up. I can't pick. No, but I can't pick. You feet can't leave you ground in nothing.
Yeah.
You feet can't leave you ground though.
Like, if you pick, you have just
Just leave. Yeah, just leave. Just leave. Just leave. You understand? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just that.
But that's for me personally. Like I personally ain't gonna jump on somebody like that in a party unless I know a good friend of mine that we understand that this is just us as friends, something, you know. But that's just my comfort level. Whereas I know people who are in a relationship and he could pick up anybody and rumble and his girlfriend there recorded it for you to post on social media later. So why would work here within your relationship? Who's me to say when they're wrong and when they should not do that within your relationship?
Which is fair.
That's different to me because I guess we all understand the culture, so we all understand like Dizzy vibe or whatever. But I still feel like I would not if a man in a relationship like. And you in effect and push it back on the people man playing. And you stand there and let some random walk up on you. You're kind of wrong though.
I would have gassed my man.
You would have gassed your man.
Mm-hmm. But
you different.
You're good, bro.
Man, I want to ask you a question, Nandi. Because you dance so much, is there ever a time when you are dancing now or in recent history that you've danced and you felt something like more of a sensual connection as opposed to just it being just a cultural thing that you just do?
I feel like when them times come, it's be like intentional.
Oh, so it was saying that you knew the person beforehand or something like that?
No, what I mean is, if a girl getting you that type of dance in the party, she intentionally getting you that type of dance. Or she could just give you a walk up and go on about she business. But if she want you to know that that's that type of thing, yes, no. Without even having to try, you can literally be dancing like this, you just kind of be like, wait. This pushing back a little too much.
That's so easy to misinterpret though.
It is. So that's why I said that's why I didn't say approach. I said wait.
And suss the scene. I didn't say attack and approach, that's the difference. Because some men might take a sense for knowing when she was really just giving you a dance.
Yeah.
But if you know, likewise, people just do a dance and move. If you know a girl in front of you put your back a whole night and know she talking up to you after, you know, you might
but the catalyst there, the talking after.
Right.
Like without that, there's no way to really tell like what she was about.
It's true.
For me, that had a time, an undisclosed point in history.
Yes.
Right, of course. When I was dancing on a girl, right?
Sada.
I was dancing on a girl. I was dancing on a girl. And it went from, you do a chorus and move, right? But it was a chorus and then back to the verse, then another chorus and we still there. But then I move off now.
That's what he's got to do.
A next song, but hold on, man. A next song after that, she come back on.
Right.
She came back, right? And then she danced for 3 songs. She about you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's more than that. It's more than this here.
Right.
That to me. But that's how I feel.
Catch a little vibe. The vibe could either be there's a real good dance and so I just want to continue dancing with he.
Right.
Or it's a vibe and I might be trying to figure out saying later.
Right.
I feel the hard part for y'all as men though is that women is just be like, I am here. Wait for you to take up. I'm not actually saying directly, so it's kind of hard for y'all to fish. Y'all literally know God gonna figure out. Wait, is she trying to tell you?
I'm so glad that you know this. I'm so glad that a woman established how hard it is.
A friend of mine, she said that what she does is she's look at the man and don't look off. And if you come and talk to her, then it was meant to be. And I can't wrap my head around that.
I either.
Because you know how often you just look at somebody and just like, you got something you knows?
I'll be looking at you out. That's like my brain off in la 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 and staring at you.
But nah, she said when she's looking at somebody, like they gotta come and talk to you,
Okay.
So
man, love yourself. If she tell you that she like you too.
That makes sense to me.
Too bad.
That makes sense to me. And you do you have a situation because you are Nandi and being in effect, right? I've seen effects that men is be like inconspicuously lined up behind a girl. Like in a row, waiting for their turn to dance with a girl. Do you experience that a lot?
It does. It's so funny. I think sometimes people be intimidated now, which is not a bad thing because I tend to really just dance with people I know. I mean, granted, if I dance and somebody pull up behind me, I ain't gonna stop necessarily unless I like not dancing, right? Sometimes I would just be standing and somebody gonna ease up behind me dancing and I'm like, I know you that you can see me just standing here. Maybe talking or drinking a beverage. But you see that
stationary bumper.
She's like, I know you can see me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's happens sometimes. Things that happen in the parties, no?
Listen. Oh yeah.
Sir?
I'm just saying that I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, it's very weird. And I think I've been in one of those lines like once upon a time.
Behind Nandi?
No, not for Nandi, not for Nandi.
But you intentionally stand up in line?
But I didn't realize I was in a line until I realized I had another, like the fella in front of me, but she was just waiting to get, But she was dancing with somebody, so I was like, oh, well, let me think. Because I know she right, and I was just like, let me, fall back. And I look here and I see other man, I see there's a queue. So I was like, okay.
There
was a bank line behind this woman's boxy.
I gotta make a disclaimer. Marcus is good Juves. Like, this does not make sense in any other setting, dog.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you on a cruise and this happening. That's creepy.
My guy said,
so that's happened. Man, you see, if you look back about 4 times and realize the man is the same coming down and meeting eyes with you every second, I guess he's doing the same fishing thing your friend would be doing, and then eventually get closer and get
But
closer.
that's not a line, though.
That's when, I just talked about one, when 4 of them doing the exact same thing at the same time. And literally sometimes it's be like, in close proximity, one person just stepping up waiting for you to move. I
think that's because you, though. I don't think that's an average thing.
You hear, happened to
Marcus is a Juves be.
So
that's a standard at Juves.
And Nandi had asked me before we started why I only go to Juves. Mainly, I only go to Juves. I feel like the field that's be at Juves is the field that should be at all parties. And it's because, like, for example, people can't be on the phone because they got paint all over the place, whatever. The paint is making people free up a bit. It's more of a real kind of...
a raw feeling?
It's a raw feeling where it's just, let me just feel the vibe of the party instead of people standing off, being standoffish. They don't want to move. They didn't dress up and got makeup on and things, so they don't want. So is this more fitting for the kind of feeling that I'd be looking for as opposed to like normal fest or whatever? So that's the reason why I
you need a bread pocket jam.
Yeah.
Barbados needs a bread pocket jam.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate things like Social State of Mind and them things so that, people put on a short pants and a pair of slippers, them come to walk up. Them ain't there for another reason than to party and enjoy themselves. Whereas at a brunch, got people that put on their makeup and spend their money on here and on this outfit. So them ain't really want to sweat and move, man. Them just looking cute and watching face.
Right.
So I get what you're saying about the Juve for sure. Right. But that's the energies be a bread pocket jams.
Right.
I actually hear the state of event. I don't want to deteriorate, push the conversation in the direction that it doesn't have to go. But like, I hear that if you want to go in Barbados now, you got a ticket last week.
Yeah.
Like you can't decide. You can't really decide on the day I feel like going out because all the events are $80 soirees. Like nothing in just like.
You want to refund an $80 ticket?
You mean 100 and up?
Yeah.
And it's something included that I don't necessarily want.
Yeah.
So the kind of the how you say the lesser expensive or whatever kind of parties are kind of going extinct.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I don't want to use the term lesser expensive, but yeah, I guess like Brewster's Road and things like that like just don't happen. And like the Gap is a shell of itself.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting, like if you want to go in Barbados, you gotta like that's not to say you make it do buy clothes because you gotta look good because you're spending stupid money to just go when sometimes like the aim is you just want to go.
Right. Yeah.
You still sorry.
No, go on, Moses, if you still on that. Because I was gonna shift topics that way.
You pay the guy in fact still?
In Barbados.
For real?
Somewhere in the US, somebody would say, let me pay you $200. Like, you this bunch of tickets, please just come. And they'd be like, yay! And then I would come to Barbados and somebody would literally take my money.
You know, Nandi is synonymous with, like, you're a cultural expert.
Hello, I bought tickets for me and Father Phyllis last year to go to a party. And as a person took the money and gave me the tickets, they said, I hope to see a viral video from you. I was
like, oh my God, nah.
Nah,
different
boy.
Than what you doing March 12th? Maybe
we talk about it. But I was like, but you see, they see the value because they want the viral video. But you here taking my money on my hand, though? You not paying me for that viral video? You want free marketing?
It was last week. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. How's it going?
I'm on access now. It was talking about fee. Like, we have like an anti-celebrity culture. And it's translating things like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild to me. Like, I don't understand what you're paying again for that.
I went to a party with Phil last crop over, and it was like Phil's manager's party. And so we were at the door. Phil couldn't get through to the manager, I guess, because he was like dealing with his event and stuff like that. And the woman Phil said, can I go speak to XYZ there so they could go get the manager and come back? And the woman started carrying on. I don't know who he think he is and this and that and that. In my head, it's Phil. It's Phil. So if he go any party, you know exactly who he is. You know exactly who it is. And what you need to be in like this, we just trying to find the man so we could gain the party. Will you being weird?
So, why God even come to that?
Exactly. It was, like you said, right, anti-celebrity to put something that...
And it's not smart.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, we have this culture of, oh, well, you ain't you somebody, but you're nobody. Like, it's not smart. Like, there's a certain reverence that I think needs to happen. I'm not saying that, Nandi needs to be treated like the prime minister or whatever, but you're a cultural export.
Yeah,
like
1000%.
Like, a lot of stuff really doesn't make any sense. And in the US, you said in other cultures or whatnot, people pay you to like, yo, please get
chill in the club.
I mean, like,
that's crazy.
It is wild to me. Sorry, I just needed to ask that.
Yeah. No, perfect.
No, when you said so, I remember years ago when when Just Jay was doing he was doing a DJ course with the BDAs. It's not part of that. The thing is, he was just mentioning that he still like tried to do his best to pay. He said he is the opposite. He was like, he tried to do his best to pay to go as much advance as possible, just so people don't think
I mean, part of it is like, yeah, I still gonna support you and I want to support you and thing, but to the extent of you expecting a viral video, which is
that's shit.
my
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's shit.
And I'm not saying that the people who are celebrities or have celebrity status or whatnot should not pay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, there's this expectation that when this person enters the fair, right, is going to add value.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we sticking up about a ticket for this particular person coming in here to your fair? No, like, why we doing that?
Yeah, they're not being strategic with that at all.
And I find a lot of people are very short-sighted.
That's true.
Furthermore, she's your head boy. She got 2 passes.
I feel so too.
Right, because you can't bubble the only place. Like, if you know for sure, once I land in there and you play music, it's gonna be a vibe. And that's not just a vibe I can keep. Selfish people be feeding off of that vibe and partying.
They're all line a man there. And then also people be taking snaps of you, and those snaps are more likely to go viral than somebody else in the fact.
And that's marketing there.
So that's not marketing. So it is short-sighted. I do agree.
Like Beijing too, I'm gonna do one of them like vertical videos.
Right. And then you gone clear.
Correct.
Right. You have to say you want to say.
I got a lot of things about you go ahead. You
sure? Because I got my comment over here. Now you go down there. No, I ain't say no. Please do it.
How often this happen?
No, I want.
Boy, play some manners.
Go
Bro.
on.
I ain't doing this no more.
Please.
Y'all know I got somewhere to be.
Okay, no, I wanted to ask you, Nandi. I wanted to ask you about your sexuality. But before I do that, I just want to ask if that's okay.
I was gonna
have to ask
for
Why you didn't ask you better question?
Before I do, I want to ask you if that's okay.
I don't say hide it.
Okay.
I can't say hide.
Okay.
I'm not the most like hanging on a shirt, putting it on a shirt with it, but I don't necessarily hide either.
Okay, so. I just wanted to ask you before I did. Just it's personal, so whatever. But the reason is because on this podcast, I'm proud to say that we've had the L, the G, the T. Twice we had the T twice, but we did not. We have not had somebody to represent the bisexual community.
There's no way that's facts.
Think about it.
I am hard, and there's really.
Yeah, there's nobody.
How do we have a T?
Yeah, twice. We actually had a queer too, so we had a Q, but we didn't have a B yet.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
We'll see.
This is the only B that we're probably gonna get. So
that doesn't make fucking sense. No.
Yeah, you would think that.
Right.
You're right.
You're right. Most common something.
Let me. Nah. Go on. Sorry. Go on.
But I just wanted to ask you, just in terms of being open, how has it been since then? Do people in terms of how people interact with you, or what have people said to you since you have been open about it? Not all the time, but you have spoken about it. You don't really hide it or whatever. How has that been for you?
I remember 1 or 2 times on the timeline, somebody might take the getting in a job and try to throw it up at me, and it was like, you want dog biscuit? They don't hide that.
People have called you on being bi.
Some guy was trying.
I can't really imagine what that sentence is
using that as an insult.
You know what I mean? Don't talk to me, you bi.
Yeah.
you like girls.
Some guy was trying.
That's real.
Yeah. They definitely try it. But I do see myself, I guess, because I'm popular in different spaces, that I would see it as, and I also don't care about people's opinion. I would see my page or me sometimes as an advocate in a sense, or a voice for people who might be afraid to be judged if they say how they feel about things in that space, or to express themselves. So very often I would see things I don't like and scroll past it, but when it comes to that topic, I'd be like,
you's gonna think.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And this is a question that I think persons may ask. Just in terms of being bi, this is where now you have an affinity for both sexes. Do you have an affinity for them equally, or is you like one and then the other, or and does it kind of just depend on the person? How does that work?
People are equally trash.
Okay, well that's fine.
People are equally humans are trash. It's not any one is worse than the other, or more than the other. But I do tend to like people for personality, and
Oh, he's a personality nigga.
Yeah, to me male-female thing. They matter. Like,
Okay.
once I was attracted to personality. So that's kind of how that got there. So I guess it's an equal something.
Do you ever like, if you say this is just an example, say you would have dated like 3 of the same sex, you then say like, I miss the other sex, or that doesn't really happen?
I guess so. But it won't be like an intentional, I had 3 back to back, just let me
Yeah, you
tap
just gotta
over
balance
to
out.
this side.
right.
It's
like
just
a
kind of what
scorecard.
flows, right? What works.
So a personality thing. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah. I do see a lot of conversations about that, strangely. But not necessarily about female bisexuals, but male bisexuals. I see a lot of conversation about it. I don't give any input, but I just see people talk about it.
Nothing.
As a straight man, Kofi Jones, as a proud,
Sorry, man. Sorry,
as a proud,
It was a moment.
No, yeah. You went
You
for it, and I'm
get
glad.
backlash. Not backlash, but like, is it difficult being relationships with your partners, or is this like a vibe?
Nah, relationship.
Right. Okay. So
That's not part of the bisexual thing that you're not in relationships.
Nah, that's why I asked. I was asking. Given her schedule, it probably might be difficult. So it wasn't really about her sexuality. So like, is it, given your line of work, mainly dancing, is it like your partners like have an issue with you like being public online?
That's a good question.
You know who you're dating? Like, you meet me this type of way. You meet me as this person, you can't really be vexed about my personality and my opinion. Like, you find me like this.
That's interesting. I don't know. I just feel like as a man, right, you just be expected to hold back certain things when you get in a relationship. Like, despite this is who you meet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't really go out and get on the same way.
I hear you. I don't get into relationships.
All right, don't worry.
It's just a straight man like me.
Realistically speaking, I don't want, for me, that's be something of, you need to be 100% who you are and let me love you for that, rather than you gotta come into this space and no try to conform and fit into me. It's like, you be you, I be me. Where we meet. And where we don't meet, that's fine. You might link there with somebody else.
Huh?
This is where Marcus can get you. But you
Brilliant
might link there
segue.
with somebody else or something like that, and that don't faze me because that's not a space that me and you just link on, or it's just two different
You say you're
things.
missing out based on that stance.
Missing on what?
So
I try. I was trying to figure out what she could be messing up.
That's what he said.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought
No.
I thought she got everything.
Okay, so
I listening, Mark. I'm most sorry. I listening.
like a person having to meet you on your terms, right?
Mhm.
Having to conform to.
I don't want you to conform.
Sorry.
I don't want you to conform or necessarily meet me on my terms. If we meet, then great. Then that makes sense.
So happens
But
on your terms.
no, I want you to be comfortable and be you 100% too. So I don't want you necessarily changing to fit into my mold. Your molds, oh Lord, my chemistry brain here doing enzymes
Your mold.
inside the
Mold.
inhibitors and thing, right?
What's a mole again?
3 point. Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like
I'm on a
inhibitors and
sorry.
receptors and stuff like that. Like, you will fit into a chain and it flourish and do what it's supposed to do. And something else who does not fit in is just not going to work it, but it might fit into somewhere else and cause that system to start working. So again, be you, 100% you. Me and you might link on.
Not your terms. Not your mold.
If our terms are the same, then yes.
But what are the odds of you finding someone, and apparently more than one person, with your mold?
What's the odds of you finding one person that can fit all of you personality?
I don't. So you have to find someone and make it. Well, all right.
Right?
All
You
right.
gotta find somebody that will mold.
I was gonna say like
So-
you
so-
could make it work. You love someone despite XYZ, and not like you have to love this entire person.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't like the conditional tense of, if you are only into this mold and fitting into these parts, then I love you. Be you. Let me love you for that. So when you do you, I am not surprised. I am not hurt. I ain't shocked. I know exactly who it's working with.
But I could love you, but sometimes you cut cheese diagonally, and like, that's pissed me off. But I still love you.
No, that would be saying that you actually have an issue with.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But that issue is so small in the grand scheme of things that I am willing to I don't really care about it because it's like that don't matter compared to my love for you.
So you mean like negotiables versus non-negotiables?
All right,
yes.
Let me ask this. You will ever like cut down, all right, not go to an engagement because your significant other doesn't want you to go. For like, okay.
I feel like that can need context.
Okay, like a personal party or okay. I mean, you really don't have to go to this thing, but you want to go to it because you like for the party, blah, 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 blah. Your partner doesn't want you to go to that. Would you sacrifice your being Nandi in that moment to appease your partner?
Well, you don't want me to go is the bigger question.
You know what's interesting, Mosey? This is such a male-only issue. This is a man-only problem, dog.
I can't wait to ask my next question, but go ahead.
I hearing... I'm
not
trying to say it because,
you.
as like what he's saying, again, I don't know if you're missing this part, but all right, in direct terms, I know this man is that person that he's dealing with more than one person. That's naturally just his flow of things. That's how he's moved. It ain't mean that he love anybody any less or he interact with anybody less. That's literally just been our man flow. I'm not lying there and think that I got the magical touch to stop him from being here, you know?
You can make him change.
Because make him change what? For a couple years maybe, and then the leopard sink back into his spots and start back doing his thing. Well, why you gonna be shocked? I'm gonna be stupid. I know exactly who I was dealing with to start with, and that's not to say people don't change or might see a different view and take a different route. But if I loved him for exactly who he was to start with, knowing that that's exactly who he is, you know, I don't feel like I should be shocked or confused, especially when there was no dialogue to directly say, this is what we are cutting in the name of our relationship. So it's not that I won't give a negotiation or, you know, give and take, because to me it's that. It might be a 70 here, you might be a 30 there, and we switch around and say so, and we have conversations about it. But I don't want you necessarily changing to fit me. I want you to be you. I need you to be you whole as a person so that I could be my whole as a person, because I got enough to focus on myself, to be honest.
That's very admirable.
That's very admirable. I want to ask you, what I wanted to ask you is, because it's hard to have a conversation with other straight people about what the opposite sex does or doesn't do, because they can only judge from like the people they've dated, which should be the opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
But you've dated both sexes. I want to know if you see any differences in the way that both sexes approach a relationship and that kind of thing. Do you see any like consistent trends in both of them, men and women?
Yes.
Okay.
I really do hate to generalize. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like, you know, different people are their own individual something, but there are some consistencies that you got really clock.
Such as?
Straight off the top. Okay, I feel like often men are taught not to feel emotions, and if they do feel emotions, don't express them emotions. And so, you'll be talking to a brick wall. I would talk, and it's be like, okay, silence, dead silence. Can I hear how you feel in return type of something, you know, sure. That's a pattern that I've seen. Until you do. Eventually, usually sometimes it might be too late. That's also something that women do. They might say up front and they might sound like nagging over and over and over, or sometimes they might just act out and have an attitude but don't necessarily communicate exactly what I'm feeling. But by the time they actually do express what was happening, it's too late. Them done sign off. Done sign off and go elsewhere. So there are some trends.
Interesting. Okay, and then on the other hand, in terms of women, what do you see consistent in like women's behavior?
That was the last one.
Oh, the last one was the women do the same thing?
No, and that they might. They might
sorry.
feel it.
Three drinks in, sorry.
Sorry, that's so funny.
3 drinks.
That's hilarious.
Sorry.
Oh, Lord. They might feel it and they might have an attitude, just react, get vexed, give you all this attitude, act out right. But don't exactly say what the issue is, or by the time they reach finally saying what is them done clock out, ain't no real coming back.
I get you. Okay. I misheard. Okay. Gotcha. I find that very interesting because I mean, somebody like yourself and other people that would have dated both would have a better understanding, even if generalizations were to be made. But sometimes we generalize and we may not necessarily know the other side because we don't really deal with the other side of whatever. Okay, that's cool. I will move on to the next topic if you may. Good. Imagine
the floor.
Okay, so you done talk.
He's recovering. Okay. So you mentioned what the next topic was gonna be. You don't necessarily mind arrangements where things are not monogamous.
That don't faze me, to be honest. Personally,
Really?
I'm not telling you to do that because to me it don't suit everybody. It ain't everybody thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need monogamy and that works for them and they're very happy and contented in that space for that time period or maybe forever. Great for you. And then there are other people who might feel an attraction to somebody else while still not losing anything for their person. And I would say that's a problem. Again, whatever working in your relationship, just don't be deceitful and lie to the person that you're supposed to be there with. And Wally.
So on your idea of monogamy, non-monogamy, that's acceptable for you, is that more when it's like doesn't have much emotion attached to it, where it's only like casual, or do you mean where it's like you are in like multiple relationships?
You asking me about my practice or in general?
But in terms of you, what is your preference?
Term practice there.
Your preference is when there's no emotions attached in the other relationships, or you can have multiple relationships at one time.
So that, to me, would still come down to who you in a relationship with
Okay.
at the time. If y'all got agreement that, yeah, you could do your thing, but it just needs to be casual, then fine. If it might be a scene of, yeah, you could have more than one relationship, but we have these particular understandings or whatever. Because I don't know. Me personally, the idea of you being taken care of, especially in my absence, because I don't want you to suffer in my absence, that's a win for me. But that's just me, so I can't really tell you for
that's such a way to see it, Joe. A win for me?
Oh my goodness gracious me.
I know what you face like that. That was different.
That is another level of confidence. Oh my goodness. And security,
like,
big man.
Well, how long do men feel about polyamorous relationships?
No, what? Me and what? Are you insane?
Dog, like, I thought about that.
Like
I say about that a long all the time, and it depends on the girl. There is a girl that I used to deal with, and like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say that I wasn't as passionate about her, but that's what it's feeling like. It's feeling like it was not as, like, she was more content with me giving less. Should they say that? I think that's what it was. So, like, I wasn't necessarily trying my best, but, like, we were both contented. I was happy where I was, she was happy where she was. And I always was studying. If she was to say, she getting over them, I would not mind.
But that's a relationship to you? That counts as a relationship to you?
It's a form of relationship,
but like,
though,
right.
It might not be a stage like them trying to build a house and get married and live together, but
it's still a relationship.
So it was a relationship where it wasn't like towards a certain goal of like marriage and long term, nothing like that.
I don't know. That was my dog. Like that was my dog at any day. Like that was somebody that I valued highly. Like,
so that's a fun friend.
I would not. It was not that though.
Sight.
It might have been more than that, and this
it was
is
not
why
that.
We don't do the titles thing. We know what's going on between we. It working out good.
But then no, a different girl could never. Could never, though. You mad?
Fair.
That's
Fair.
crazy. It's like, nah, I can't. I don't know if it stems. I don't know if it stems from insecurity. And then even if it does stem from insecurity, I don't even know if it's that bad. But
for me, 100% is, and it's not that bad.
I don't even know if I think it's
different shows for different.
I think it's understandable to have certain insecurities, though.
That's my point.
Right.
Like, it's standard. Be like, these are the standard moment insecurity.
Right. Cool.
Like, I just don't want to see you holding my hand. Like, what are you doing?
No. Hold my hand. A hand?
Nah,
boy.
too much.
Different shows for different folk. I guess again because I am who I am. Something like that would not upset me.
Nandi.
I might see that and smile.
Nandi, if a man was to hug my girlfriend alternate, right?
Nah. Funny butt, funny waist.
I get you.
Hands,
I get you,
but
but
hands.
not how I gonna open myself here. So
as what? Polyamorous, bisexual. What more you want me?
But I mean, like, if I had to see my partner in that type of scene with a girl,
that would turn you. Sorry, that was okay.
Yeah,
that is.
I was going with that.
I was gonna ask.
That is so.
That's exactly right.
That is very cool.
I was gonna ask.
There's a viewer of this podcast that she's a friend of mine. Like not on timelines at all, and like she was talking to me about her she's a very Christian girl as well, which is very interesting with this conversation. She was telling me about her relationship, and like, this time from I sent a girl a TikTok, and there was just a ramble of conversation, and then the girl was like, she wants to see her partner with somebody else, but her jealousy was kicking, and it was like,
I don't think he's get jealous.
That first part, you don't think what?
Coffee get bloody brain.
I don't think he's get jealous.
Sarah on me?
No, I think you just know who you're dealing with. Pardon?
Are you a cup?
Can you define what a cup is? Yeah. Make sure you.
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
A cup.
What's a cup?
Somebody's
gets off on seeing their partner with somebody else.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a term for it.
Yeah, that sounds like a insult of this world, bro.
It should be.
I guess so.
That's
interesting. That's very.
There are people like that.
There's a.
Wow.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
I didn't know that was
like
okay.
even in me falling into figuring out this space. It was. I didn't really say it wasn't gonna be here personal, but anyway, it wasn't like I read this and said, "Oh, this sounds interesting. Let me figure it out." I was in a relationship with somebody, and it was long distance, and it was for a long period of time that we were away from each other. And in that time, I had started to get feelings for somebody else, and I expressed it to my partner. Oh God, he can deal with that. He ain't never let me live that down. It was like a full freak out panic. I never acted on it. I never even told the person I was interested in them. But I came to have this conversation with my partner. Worst thing could I ever do? I thought, this is space that I should be able to.
She ain't said nothing wrong yet.
Yeah. yeah. I was like, what else did my friend do?
I did not act on it. I didn't even tell the person. I actually stopped talking to the person. Wow. I was here having this conversation with my partner that I feel like I should be able to talk to about anything, especially being myself. I feel like that should have been a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Man said, let me live that down. For months later, he would still bring that up. I ain't cheat by mine, but the man still acting out or whatever. And then even little things like, I feel like, he used to search. Oh, wow. And little things like people giving me a compliment and they replying with a smile, he would make that something, right? So I was like,
that's not you.
What are you fishing at?
That's not you.
A smile?
Yeah.
You being replied with a smile?
Yeah.
That ain't to me either.
Is it upside down smile?
Nah,
because that's jail time. That's an offense.
It's like there's
that's against the law.
Upside down smile, right?
An upside down smile?
Nah, that's too much.
Nah, you're doing too much. Yeah, make sure that smile right set up.
Anyway, I was just politely replying. I wasn't pursuing nothing. But he was like picking at that. So I was like, he hiding saying he doing too much fishing. And so like literally the one and only time I ever searched your phone, and after that I was like, nope. But it was a conversation. He telling this person that he loved them or he wanted them or something like that. And in doing that and reading it, I was not even heartbroken that he was telling this to somebody else. I was upset that he didn't feel like he could come and talk to me about that, especially after I shared that part with you earlier. So you could see how, well, in my head, you see how I come and had this conversation with you, or I felt this for somebody else and it didn't change how I feel for you in any type of way. Because you don't feel that for somebody else and it don't change how you feel for me. But you felt like you had to hide it and not have a conversation with me. And the fact that I literally messaged my friend. I was like, I should be vexed about this, right? She was like, how you mean that? And she started acting up, but I really was not upset that he felt that way towards somebody else. I didn't care.
I want to say something, and I highly rate you and I highly respect you. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. I just don't know how this might come across. But I sometimes wonder, like, where's the line between emotional maturity and delusional? Because I don't think that's something you should read and be like, oh, how can he not feel comfortable coming to me? Like, I think, like, the appropriate reaction should be, I want to bust this man's head.
Fair. I literally went through the process of assessing, do I actually feel angry at this, or I supposed to feel angry by this because that what TV tell me, or I see that's how people act around me or saying. But really and truly, when I had to like reflect on it, I actually was not moved by him telling somebody that.
No, you see that line about what TV tell you is like, as a man that phone went through to, as a man that his phone went through, and like something happened that to me is just a TV thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like
I not say
that line was just, that. No, I'm just saying that line is just very powerful. Like the fact that you were able to sit down and tell yourself, this is not me thinking this truly. This is Not true, Nandi. This is just something that Nandi was influenced by.
My question to you, Kofi, would be: Are the responses that we are accustomed to having to these things, are they even the right responses? Although they are the most frequent and what we know to be normal. Should we be having that response in the first place, or should we be having what Nandi's response was of just more of a, okay, I understand?
I don't... sorry.
Finish your answer, sorry.
No, I don't think it's natural to... I wish I could do that, Marcus.
Right.
For several things, I wish I could sit down and say... Sometimes you're not afforded the time to sit down and articulate and figure out what you're feeling. Sometimes it's just an immediate action that happens. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of things. So, like, I might read my partner, I don't know, say something well to a man. My immediate action is to break up everything. Not because I think that's correct.
Right.
But that's your response.
It is like, from a place of it's from a place of emotion, right?
But that was your emotional response. I showing you that I did not have that emotional
response. Which I find
response.
very interesting. And again, like I respect it. I just find it wild that that's possible.
To react emotionally.
Huh?
I find it very interesting too.
It's not normal. Well,
I think I see it as a gift more than a curse.
I just worked out that I think different. My way of thinking, just,
So what would get
sorry.
you... All right, so it's just the person not disclosing it.
Right.
To me, something like, yeah, that would upset me more. You not being direct and honest with me, especially when I saw understanding. Not understanding, I just don't faze me. You can literally come and talk to me almost about anything under the sun, and I would, like, my friends understand it, and I would reason with you wherever the case is. So to have that space and then choose to go different... All right, for example, let me see which way I want to put this. Say there's something heavy on you, whatever it might be. You feel like your girl is your bestest buddy, that's your bestest friend. And you go and talk to her about it, and this is something you're real sensitive about. And her reaction is to be big and loud and break everything in your space.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and tell she's saying after that?
No.
Or are you going to keep it to yourself and do it in you silence? Right.
Fair.
So you got a space to be honest and open, is what he's saying here. Well, if you choose that type of relationship, you got that space to be honest and open. And in my opinion, to me, it's actually bring you closer to the person that you could be direct and honest about stuff like this, and they don't have a big nasty reaction. I'm not saying that they have to agree with exactly what's saying, but at least, y'all can have a dialogue about it and you don't feel judged about it.
Where you grew up? Sorry, that was a genuine question. I don't understand like how...
A bunch of hippies.
No, that's not making sense to me. That's not making any sense. You're putting shout at you, dog. Like, no, like, that got stem from your life, and that has to stem from childhood. Like, there's no way I do something wrong and my mother shout at me, and I can't remember again about it. I can do it in silence.
Right, exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I was being so real when I asked the question, where did you grow up? Be like, this was tone? This cannot be tone?
In Black Rock.
Whoa. Okay. So, all right.
You gotta study it, so.
What does tick you off then? All right.
I don't be vexed often, to be honest.
But what gets you there?
And if I am vexed, it's probably be vexed for about a maximum of 10 minutes or so, because I can't function in that angry space. I don't serve myself. I just can't get nothing to do. So I deal with it for that time period, feel what I'm feeling. And chances are I'm probably going to forget about it because I get distracted by something else. But we go on with that. Move off of that.
So can you remember the last time that you were really upset? Like, what upset you recently, maybe?
I'm saying it's all peaches and roses over here. I do get annoyed sometimes, but it's not easy. Very often, my friends say all the time, I need to figure out how to not give a fuck like you. And so things don't really bother me. Hardly anything that's bothering me, that's all right. I guess if you embarrass me in a sense in front of people, but even then, that's still kind of shaky because... Right! That's still kind of shaky because I didn't really study anything.
You're perfect.
You naturally...
Modi said it first.
You naturally...
Modi said it first.
I was reading a lot that, like, a really good gift to have is if you have a partner who normally doesn't have, like, a susceptibility towards, like, being very upset, depressed. Some people just have a baseline of, like, being happy or just neutral all the time. Some people just don't really get angry all the time and thing. So I think that could just be you. You just you don't really get very upset about things often.
Yeah, well.
Okay, all right. So there are situations where people will look at that in a relationship and say, well, this is perfect. This person doesn't get upset or whatever. But I found, like, in the rhythm of relationships, sometimes you need tension. Do you think it's possible to just be too chilled in a relationship and you know, they're not to really, like...
Push you.
My tension would be in different spaces. I won't say that is no tension, but differently. If it can come in an argument or fight up or something along them lines, I don't really want that to do with it because my ex will tell you, Nandi, if you're going to disturb Nandi peace, Nandi will leave you right where you are. Nandi is not going to sacrifice her peace. And very right. Very spot on. Because I can't function if I'm not in a peaceful or in my happy space. So what's the point? But that tension might come in something. And I'm not saying that we don't necessarily butt heads, but the way how you deal with them issues is a big part of why we might actually be in a relationship rather than if it's a big fight. So I know that that type of energy I want to deal with, so I ain't nothing wrong with you.
You sure you virgin?
Sure you human? That's crazy. That's like insane.
It's interesting in a relationship dynamic. Because so much about a person being upset about something in a weird way kind of communicates. If you don't care enough to be upset.
You talking for Romar?
Let me ask you a question. But you say that, what I think you were saying before I interrupt you. But what I think you were saying is that the level of upset somebody is a unit of measurement of how important whatever your topic is. So if you can't assess that, then how do you know how important?
I will not be the person to be in this space. If you meet me, I know that I certainly get upset, and then you can use that as a point to assess how much I love you. I think you're a fool. Especially if I communicated that I love you in so many different ways. So
perspective is key.
But some people only know how to receive love, man.
Correct.
It's so
and me and you would then not line up because if you could only receive it in a way that I can't express it, then what's the point of me being here?
What if that person had several other things that you admire? But is that one thing?
I feel, and so this where
and this goes back to my first question. Do you think you are missing out?
I feel like I'm missing out.
Okay, cool.
I feel like it's curated.
That clean.
What was the first part of this question?
Don't worry about it though. You answer it.
Oh Lord.
Oh man.
This is fun.
Yeah, it was.
Nandi, I don't want you to leave here without plugging your stuff. And you don't have to plug the social media, although you can. But everybody that's watching this, I know they have to be following you. But I do want you to say some of the things that you have going on, just so we can follow them if anybody wants to purchase anything, if you have anything going on, any classes, all that stuff.
Oh, so many moving parts at once. Okay, so Carnival influencer, something has been, I guess I know, kind of accept or put a title to it, but that's something that's been going where people might hire me to either come model for their carnival or just to be a part of the carnival. So there's that. If you want me at your carnival, show me. Plug my Instagram right after this, but there's that. And then same way I would do promos for music. People might use me as the visual to advertise for a product or a place. So anything along those lines, also hit me up. Working on clothing brand. That's gonna come. There's still... Right. I still have some body glow products that I'm working with. I wanted to shimmer and my skin to look great. It's terrible and I'm not wearing any right now. But they also smell great. So hit me up for those. Off the top of my dance classes, I don't teach. So I call my class workshop. It's like a walk-up workshop. I don't teach them consistently in Barbados right now. But if every once in a while I will throw up a poster and teach a class, or if a small group wants to do private bookings, there's that, or one-on-one classes, somebody might hit me up. There's that for workshop. There's a long list. Pole. I teach pole like 7 days a week. So you can also hit me up if you're interested in starting pole from very beginner to intermediate, and then we pass you on to advanced teacher.
All this stuff you can find on her Instagram, right?
Which is your African Queen _Nandi, or email nandi.bookings@gmail.com.
Perfect. Nandi, before I go on, I have to say that I love Bambai. I just want to say that publicly.
I can see her on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I also want to say thank you for coming. I really appreciate, I think all the men appreciate your self-awareness, your strength, your vulnerability, the way that you present yourself, both inside and out. You're definitely someone that you are, without a doubt, an influencer, and in all the positive ways that we need in our culture. And we appreciate you. And I know that the corporate world will do the same.
Correct.
They will do the same, right? Again, I welcome you back on the show because this was fun. And we were
sure.
Yeah.
You're sure.
Huh?
I said she ain't sure. Coming back.
Oh yeah, bought here.
Yeah, you bought here. Nah. You definitely a friend of the show now. So again, thanks for coming through. We will be following you on Instagram, Twitter, all the nice places. With that being said, INO Podcast. We out.
Thanks for watching the INO Podcast, Information, Knowledge, Observation. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you soon.